This study is interesting because almost everybody drinks alcohol. And I know the people on this call will be more likely to not be drinking it. At least I hope so. And that's good. And you can thank me later for preserving your brain. But this paper was just published in Nature Communications. And the title is Associations Between Alcohol Consumption and Gray and White Matter Volume. So alcohol consumption and brain size. The research says that heavy alcohol consumption is pretty intuitive to all of us, right? Heavy alcohol consumption is associated with brain damage, right? If you've ever been drunk, you know it impacts your brain. So if you do heavy alcohol drinking and you do it repeatedly, that's known to drive brain atrophy, which is brain shrinkage, neuron loss, and poor white matter fiber integrity. Okay, so brain shrinkage, brain damage. And if the brain shrinks, then depending on what area is shrinking, you lose function, whatever functions are associated with that area. So if you shrink your hippocampus with alcohol, you go more to the dementia side of things. If you shrink your frontal lobes, you might go more to the Parkinson side of things. If you shrink your cerebellum, you're more to, say, motor pattern issues, right? All the tests that the police officer takes you through if they think you're drunk are all cerebellum tests. Walk on that line, don't, because it's balance and coordination, right? Touch your nose, those things. So we know alcohol impacts the brain. We know heavy alcohol impacts the brain, but these authors wanted to look at what's like the low end of alcohol intake that starts to affect the brain. And so they found that, you can see in the blue there, we show that the negative associations between alcohol intake and brain structure or brain size are already apparent in individuals consuming an average of only 1 to 2 daily alcohol units and become stronger as alcohol intake increases. So that's bad news for beer drinkers, because in this study, 1 unit of alcohol is half a beer. So, the 2 daily units comes out to 1 beer or 1 glass of wine. And then it becomes stronger as alcohol intake increases. So the more you drink, it's a compound effect is what they're finding. So you get there faster. And so they found that if you were to drink 1 unit of alcohol a day or half a beer a day for a year, that leads to loss of or aging of 6 months faster than you would have. If you go to 2 drinks per day, you're going to age 2 years faster. 3 years per day, 3 years faster. So basically every 2 units of alcohol you drink on average per day is speeding up your aging by that many years. And this is not a small study. They did this based on almost 37,000 people in the UK. And they looked at how much do they drink, and they looked at brain MRIs, and they looked at they divide the groups into how much they drink and their brain MRIs and the brain volume, or the size of the brains based on what they're drinking. It's pretty interesting. And so, the take home for us is people are always wanting to justify, and rationalize, well, I heard that 1 glass of wine is protective, and I heard 1 beer is protective. Everyone wants to protect their alcohol, but you should protect your brain instead. And all those supposedly protective benefits that the alcohol is providing, you could usually get in a different way. For example, 1 glass of wine is protective. Yeah, well, the protective part of the wine is the antioxidant component, like the resveratrol, and you can get that without drinking the wine. So want to bring this to your attention. If you're interested in preventing dementia or neurodegeneration of any kind, brain shrinkage of any kind, you want to preserve your nervous system as long as you can, then you want to just say no to alcohol.